Whether you're picking and grinning or just picking or just grinning, grab a drink, pull up a seat. It's time for Roots Music Rambler. Turn it up.
Just don't rip it like my students rip ass in class.
Ugh.
Oh yeah. Oh hey. All right. So, okay, Jason, we have to talk about the Bruce Springsteen movie because I haven't seen it yet, and people I know who have seen it are offering mixed reviews. So I would like to know your thoughts because you just saw it recently, and I kind of value your opinion on things. So what do you think?
Well, I have a couple of different answers for you. First of
All
all,
right.
as movies go, good movie. It's a good story. It's, even if you're not a Bruce Springsteen fan, you'll probably enjoy it.
Okay.
It's not, all music all the time. It's not a musical. It's basically the story behind how Nebraska, the album, which I know is one of your favorite albums,
Mm-hmm.
how that album came about. And so he had just come off the river and he was basically for the first time dealing with real depression.
Mm.
And the movie, and that's how the album Nebraska came about, is he was trying to write songs and he was in this like deep depressive state, and Nebraska came out of that. And his insistence on kind of using sort of the raw tapes that he recorded in this house where he was just holed up writing music, was how the album came about. So it's really kind of the story of how he nurtured his own depression along, kind of fought through that, wrote the songs for Nebraska, and then forced everybody's hand to make sure Nebraska came out the way it did. And it ended up being a huge critical success and one of his most important works. And so I found it incredibly compelling and interesting because I'm interested in music. I love that album.
Right.
I'm a Bruce Springsteen fan, not deep, like I don't have all his records, but I have that. I have Born in the USA, I have The River, etc. But yeah, I thought it was well done. And Jeremy Allen White it's hard to not love that guy. He's a very good actor. I will say on the way out, Karen kept saying, I just kept thinking it was Carmy, like from The Bear. Like I just couldn't get over the fact that it was Carmy in the movie. It's Carmy. So, but no, Jeremy Allen White does a great job. He recorded the vocal tracks, like he sang the songs as Bruce that you hear on the film, and it's sometimes hard to distinguish between the two. He did a fantastic job of portraying a young Bruce Springsteen, and I had nothing but good things to say about it. I thought it was a really good movie.
Oh, that's good to know. And you mentioned Jeremy singing Bruce's songs, recording the tracks. That sort of thing has always fascinated me. You think about like Joaquin Phoenix playing Johnny Cash and Walk the Line and how awesome he was at that. And he sang all those songs too.
Yep.
And I mean, you've listened to enough Johnny Cash, you can definitely tell the difference. But it was still fantastic. In fact, like some of the songs he sang, I prefer that over the original Johnny Cash recordings. But so that stuff always fascinates me. And yeah, that's great.
Yep.
Well, thanks for sharing. I would like to see it.
Well,
I don't know if I'll make it to the theater. I might have to wait for it to hit streaming.
well, either way, it's I think it's definitely worth watching, and I'm sure that there are people who won't like it for one reason or another.
Mhm.
There was a group of older people, and when I say older people, I mean older than me, so probably in their 60s and 70s, more like Bruce Springsteen's age, who were
Okay.
sitting down from me, and they seemed to just be having a hoot. They I could tell they enjoyed the film. They were having a good time, and not in a distracting way, which was good. You could hear them laughing about certain things, and they were kind of tapping their feet and clapping a little bit during the songs and whatnot. They were having a blast. So I don't have anything bad to say about it. I thought it was really good. And it wasn't too long, and it kept my
Oh,
attention
that's
the whole time. And that's a good movie in my book.
right.
For the record, it's Springsteen Deliver Me from Nowhere is the name of the film, starring Jeremy Allen White as Bruce Springsteen. And of course, I loved the fact that the sound engineer for the track sessions was played by Mark Maron. So I got to see Mark Maron, who's I just love Mark Maron from the WTF podcast, and it's comedians who I think is really funny. And he's in there, which he's got a couple lines, but it was good. It was a good movie. I really enjoyed it. The only thing I was a little disappointed in was no cameo for Bruce. Like,
Oh,
stick your head in there. Be a guy buying a beer at the bar while Jeremy Allen White's sitting there playing you. That would have been fun to see Bruce in there, but it
yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah.
All right, so Bruce, go see it. Welcome to Roots Music Rambler. She's Frank,
And he's false.
and we're rambling on through the stories behind the music we love.
And today on the show, we're talking to Avery Ballotta from the Bluegrass trio known as Damn Tall Buildings. Falls had them as his pick in the grinnin' a few episodes back, and we were so intrigued by a Bluegrass trio from Brooklyn, New York. So we figured we needed to have them on the show.
That's right. And until you hear them, you are probably somewhat skeptical that a bluegrass band can come from Brooklyn, New York. But the first time you hear them, all the skepticism goes away. They're good pickers and grinners and songwriters and fit right in at a festival back home at Hillbilly Days or alongside new and traditional bluegrass bands as well.
And there's a whole lot of musical pedigree in that group, right? That helps get past any of that skepticism you might have. All three of the members, Avery, Sasha, and Max, the last two being the other two members of the band, all went to Berklee and then graduated. So they're graduates of Berklee College of Music. So the latter two even have a community focused music school in Brooklyn. So these folks really are pros and teachers and well schooled and very knowledgeable in all things music.
And they have a new album out called The Universe is Hungry, which we'll talk to Avery about while we find out more about his background and how he came to know Sasha and Max and all that good stuff. I'm particularly interested in his perspective on bluegrass music not being from parts of the country where that music is typically practiced and taught and such. So we'll ask him about that too.
Of course. And then we will also have our pick in the grinning segment where we share our picks, music for you to listen to that's making us grin.
That's right. Well, let's take a quick break to wet the whistle or whatever you need wetted, I guess. Check out the fine sponsors which make this show possible. And when we come back, we'll chat with Avery Ballotta from Damn Tall Buildings. This is Roots Music Rambler.
Well, the universe is eating us alive and we'll probably all die. But I hope that you and I survive. Well, the universe is eating us alive and we'll probably all die. But I hope that you and I survive. Well, life is just a long list of phone calls I have to make. Unread emails that I can't erase. Don't know what to say. Well, anyway, I've been staring straight through to the morning sun. Now I'm looking down, I can't see anyone. Just the blowing of the bees. Well, the universe eating us alive and we'll probably all die. But I hope you and I survive. Well, the universe eating us alive.
Welcome back to Roots Music Rambler. That is the title track off the new album from Damn Tall Buildings. The cut is The Universe is Hungry. One of the trio is here with us on the big show. Avery Ballotta, who plays fiddle and sings for the group, is here. Avery, how are you, my friend? Thanks for joining us.
I'm doing good. Thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, we are very, very glad to have you to talk about Damn Tall Buildings. So The Universe is Hungry. Both the song and the album are now out. I couldn't help but chuckle listening to the song, and I think we all feel similarly these days. The universe is eating us alive. Was that song or even this album kind of just a response to the crazy state of things? And how the three of you come to that, or whatever the point of the album is?
Totally. Yeah, great question. First of all, yeah, for sure. It's one of those things where after a certain point things get so chaotic or wild or insert any sort of descriptor here. But that it really it definitely comes from us taking what we were like discussing together and like feeling together, especially we were hitting the road really hard. And then, 2020 happened, and that was like a whole new paradigm, to put it into the current perspective. And so that definitely informed a lot of this as far as just like kind of figuring out, you know, not to mention just like external and internally, I feel like we were finding a lot of commonality in folks feeling the overwhelm and then diving deeper inside themselves to figure out what that was or what to do with it. So I'd say that that's definitely an amalgamation of that for us.
And despite some of those the themes that you mentioned, the angst that come across in those lyrics, the album as a whole though has a very light, uplifting sound. So would you agree that that's how bluegrass music sometimes works? It's kind of characteristic. The sounds can be fun and light, but and danceable. But then the lyrics, they're conveying the worst stories of hurt and loss and heartbreak.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, I'd say that that's definitely one of the nods, like modern nods to the bluegrass tradition is exactly that, taking a really happy, upbeat sound and putting something you really have to listen to over top of it. And yeah, and we definitely love we always like have a lot of fun anyway, and don't take things too seriously. So, and Max Capistran is our main songwriter, and he does an incredible job of that with his lyrics, especially. But yeah, in general, we always have a good time making it fun. But he always writes really profound lyrics.
I would just throw it out there in the future. If anybody asks you a question related to that, just make sure you emphasize the point. We take the shitty stories and bring them up and make them happy with
Totally.
with the
That is a
sound.
great way of putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because a pessimist, and I'm a pessimist, so that's why it entered my head. I was like, oh, so you guys are like basically just taking great music and shitting all over it with lyrics, but that's not what you want to spin.
Other way
Yeah,
around.
it's
Other
the
way
other way
around.
around. Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. We take our own pessimistic streak and transmute it into something beautiful and glistening.
There you go. Now, I believe this is your fourth studio album, and I think there's an EP out there as well. The band's been together for well over a decade. You play fiddle and sing. Your bandmates are a couple, Sasha Dubyk, who plays upright bass and does vocals, and then Max Capistran, as you mentioned, guitar, banjo, and vocals, and also writes a lot of the songs. Tell us how the three of you met and came together to form the group, and did you expect to be making music together this long? Because 11, 12 years is a pretty long lifespan of a band these days.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it definitely feels that way. Max likes to joke that like dog years are 7 years to a year for a person. He likes to joke that band years are like 25 to a year. So he's like, we're doing really good, aren't they? So I definitely we all met going to school in Boston. We went to Berklee, and I met Max in the cafeteria, and Sasha and Max met in ear training class, um, where I love telling the story, where they both got wrongly accused of cheating on a test because they put the same wrong answers down. I'm sure you love this as a teacher.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and so of course they got pulled aside, and that's how they met. Basically, they both got accused of cheating when they didn't. And thankfully, it was all fine. And it was, it has now ended up in them being married, which is
Yeah.
even funnier to me and wonderful. And then we really got together hanging out like after classes and stuff. We'd like do our school and then come together and hang out at Max's with a couple of our other buddies. It's like 4 or 5 of us, maybe 6 at a time, depending. That I would say are kind of like the core founders, of the busking band that really started all of this off. So we really cut our teeth just like playing like blues songs and like maybe 3 or 4 fiddle tunes that we knew and like things like that, and a bunch of rock and roll and things like that. Just really fun. We were having a good time. And then that taught us a lot about performing and about playing together. And yeah, I would say that like definitely we have always been of the mind like, let's see how long we can take it. So it's like both surprising and unsurprising that we're still doing it.
So you kind of described the progression, right? You started out, playing some rock and roll and some blues, and now you're playing bluegrass. And so your work has changed in that regard. Okay. How else has it changed since the first album? So you've gotten better at your craft, we're sure, right? So, and what does it mean for Damn Tall Buildings as a whole?
Oh, wonderful question. I feel like I'll relate it first to the recording process, because like the first album was recorded mostly live, like in the room together.
Mhm.
So we did it at this studio up in New Hampshire, um, and and it was a lot of, when you do that, of course, like nowadays we tend to multi-track so that we're able to like essentially work smarter in how we track certain things that we can like then comp, and turn into other things. And it makes the work a little bit easier because it's all true. But in that first album, we definitely wanted to just like all we knew was like playing together, so it's like uh that I'd say was probably the biggest difference from then to now recording wise. But I am thrilled to say that I think we all feel that we were able to capture that togetherness in this record in particular with that multi-tracking still. So we always go back to Cure All, our first record, and we all laugh and we're just like, this is pretty good. This worked. Like, so we like this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's great. Well, I think we need to listen to the output a bit. When we come back on the show, we're going to get more into the band, Bluegrass, and Brooklyn. In the meantime, let's hear another cut from the new album. Here's Turkish Airlines, the first single released from The Universe is Hungry from Damn Tall Buildings. And this is Roots Music Rambler.
I'd rather fly Turkish Airlines first class, premium spirits, martinis with real glass, off to Morocco or someplace like that. Drinking mint tea, smoking double two hash. Bet I wake up feeling better, like I got my shit together. I'll be walking around like I'm still sleeping, kinda like living without the feeling. Knowing I'm lies, won't you tell it to me straight? Tell me who do you love when you're looking right in my face? Who are you thinking of? Who do you love? Let's have a party, let's have a time, let's drink some whiskey, let's have some wine. Big ball in Brooklyn, big ball in town, big ball in Brooklyn, we'll dance around.
Welcome back to Roots Music Rambler. If you didn't know any better and weren't listening to the lyrics, you might think that song was written in a holler somewhere in Appalachia by people who learned picking and grinning from Mama and Papa. But it's Big Ball in Brooklyn from Damn Tall Buildings. They are based in Brooklyn, New York. Decidedly not a holler. And Avery Ballotta from the group joins us today on Roots Music Rambler. Avery, tell me how you came to bluegrass music. I'm not naive enough to think it doesn't exist outside of Appalachia, of course, but it's not a genre I associate with New York City either.
Totally. I grew up in Montana, so that's definitely where I first heard about it and heard of it, and got to experience that. And my very first teacher ever used to be a competition fiddler in Utah. So that's how she grew up. And then at the time that I knew her, she was an elementary school and middle school orchestra teacher, which was fantastic for me. So I learned how to read music, and then she would teach me these tunes as well. And so that was my first like introduction to it. My younger sibling, Gabe, and I grew up playing the fiddles together. So that was really nice. And then kind of drifted away, did a lot of classical stuff, and then came back. Honestly, Berklee in Brooklyn was, or sorry, Boston was my entry point really into the bluegrass world. And a lot of that came from obviously the busking and playing with great players, and the string department is just stacked constantly with awesome players. And yeah, made a lot of friends that are doing really great things with their music now in that genre and beyond. But um, that's largely due to, for me in particular, I got to start studying with Bruce Molsky, who's one of my favorite old time fiddle players. And he was an incredible teacher. And then Daryl Anger, also, who is another legend and fabulous mentor of mine. So those two definitely kind of like helped me into it, and like would be able to take my listening obsession of Vassar Clements and kind of like translate that onto the fiddle a little bit and then things like that, and just teach me a bunch of stuff. So that's my journey into it, definitely. And I'd say that for all three of us, this band is why we play bluegrass. So
Nice.
which we're grateful for, because it's such a rich tradition. It's amazing.
That is a perfect lead into our next question, which was going to be why bluegrass. So you shared with us your story. What about your bandmates?
Totally. Max grew up playing a lot of blues and rock and roll and like jazz band kind of stuff, and played the guitar because his parents wouldn't let him get a drum set, and started writing songs when he was younger. And then Sasha grew up singing, primarily, with a lot of different influences, a lot of R&B and a lot of show tunes and stuff. And then she went to school for music therapy, and Max went to school for songwriting. So again, like both of those things are relevant to what we do now. And especially with Max and Sash, they own a music school in Crown Heights now, which they get to express a lot of that kind of passing it forward thing. And Sasha is able to, she's very good at being able to convey a lot of peace and calm around learning music, which is cool. And yeah, playing together and learning these tunes together is definitely what brought us here. And I'd say that community in general is one of my favorite things about the bluegrass genre, is that it's so deep and dare I say old, and just wonderful to be able to share in something bigger than ourselves. I think that's really the truth that comes through playing with people who have been doing it for 3 days to 30 years. There's still that connection that like really hits that spark of like, oh my goodness, like what are these ancient tones that like I can get these chills playing this one fiddle tune. So I think that that's definitely what has kept us in it and keeps us like hungry for more.
Right. I know, on a very related note, I know the education piece, which you talked about a little bit, was really important to the three of you, which actually draws me to your music even more. But I know the three of you also visited Saudi Arabia recently to perform and collaborate with local musicians there. Tell us about that experience and what you took away from it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got back 2-3 weeks ago now, and it was a great time, going over in conjunction with the U.S. State Department, doing some like cultural diplomacy work, which was always great. And definitely the biggest thing that's interesting with that trip in particular is that music was just legalized in 2017. So from 69-ish till 2017, it was, I think it's 69, and then till 2017 it was illegal.
Wow.
So it is amazing to see that coming back, and this culture, like that's the thing, is like you can make it illegal, but it doesn't go anywhere, especially something like that, so powerful as music. And so to see it like, and hear all the stories of how people have been able to keep it alive and reintroduce it now to the younger generation. I think one of my favorite things about that trip was getting to chat with this like group of like 7 kids, like students, 17 to 19. And they're all playing in a band together and they want to play shows and they want to record. And it's just like, yeah, do that. That's
Nice.
great. So that I think is my favorite part. We got to play and collaboration was wonderful. And all that we got to play with a lot of great artists. And yeah, that was definitely the kids. And there's hope yet.
Yeah. That's awesome. We actually had Mohammed Dohai, who is one of the world's most accomplished oud players.
Yep.
Did I say that right?
Oud, yeah,
That
oud.
Okay.
yeah.
Oud.
Oud, there we
Yep.
go. Oud players. So, and teachers, right? He's a teacher as well. So Jason was in UAE. What was it? A couple of years ago now.
Yep.
So you were there for business and connected with Mohammed, and that was such a cool experience. I was not there in person, but I got to see the videos and stuff, and we loved hearing him play the sounds that the different instruments make from around the world. So you talked about what you loved about that trip to Saudi Arabia. Do you come back from something like that and try to incorporate those experiences into your art? And if so, how can you make that happen?
Very much. Yeah. In this case, we always try and bring back a tune or a song from wherever we go. And in this case, we learned this old like classic, like it's one of those things where it's like the whole crowd can't know this song and people not listen to it. It's like it's amazing to hear that like this beautiful classic song called Layla, La Bagi Layla, which is Arabic for this night, if for only one night. I think it's something like that.
Nice.
And it's a beautiful song, and Sasha really delivers it beautifully vocally, and we have a lot of fun. And it was great playing it with Saudi musicians because they've known it forever. So it's like really cool to bring that, and we bring that into the set now. We play that now in our set.
Sweet.
Just to share that. And then in tandem with that, our very first trip in 2023 was to Ethiopia. So same program, but we went to Ethiopia, to Addis Ababa, and we're there for 10 days, and we did a bunch of similar things, but we only played with one artist at that one, and we became very close, and he wrote this great song called Lagase Abdi, which is in honor of his mentor, who is one of the greatest Masinko players in Ethiopia. And Masinko is a traditional, like gourd instrument, kind of a diamond shape, and a single string, horsehair string, and a horsehair bow. For any string players out there, we know how wild that is. And so, and it's amazing the sounds that he's able to get out of it. It's like all overtones, which is really amazing. And then to be able to carry that forward, we were lucky enough to be able to cut that on the record as well. So we were able to have him track in Ethiopia. We got his blessing, of course, to put it on the record, and then he tracked in Ethiopia, and we were able to do this like beautiful feature track, our first world music track, and it's exciting. It's really nice. So yeah, so that I'd say is we try and bring it forward and with us as far as we can.
That's fantastic. It's great to
Love it.
great to hear that all of the different influences that you're picking up from around the world are coming back into your music. To get back to bluegrass though, real quickly, as we start to wrap up here, bluegrass music to me seems to be on this upward trajectory lately, and maybe it's because I'm close to it here in Eastern Kentucky. We got bands like the Creekers that blow up with TikTok videos lately, and people like Billy Strings and Molly Tuttle and so on are seemingly bigger than bluegrass stars of the past these days. And social media probably has a lot to do with that. But you've got the perspective of someone in the biggest media market in the world. How do people there see bluegrass music now versus maybe 10 years ago? Is the tide rising?
I love that question. I would say yes. I think yes, it's rising. There is a really strong bluegrass scene here. So like on the ground in the people scene, it's definitely like there's a strong scene. There's a ton of jams. People go to the jams. You know, like it's great. People gig. There's bluegrass nights. It's wonderful. So, you know, like that kind of thing is great. And I would say that as far as like the media goes, it is moving forward. And I think that it is thanks to folks like Billy Strings and Molly Tuttle and Sierra Farrell and like folks like that who are on the more like pop sensible side of things, or doing, like in Sierra's case, like doing collabs with Post Malone. You know, like that kind of thing is definitely adding to kind of taking it out of this like almost kitschy area and putting it more into the like, this is music, this is popular
Yes.
music. So I'd say that like on that trend, yes, I'd say there are plenty of folks in New York City who know at least whether or not they like bluegrass.
That's a start.
So yeah,
We'll take it.
which is good. Yeah.
Definitely a start. And I don't know if you know this, Avery. I'm based in Chicago. I've lived here my whole life. And
Nice.
not only is like the country, like the independent country scene huge, and it has been, but bluegrass is really on the rise here as well. In fact, I was just out Saturday night seeing a little local bluegrass band, and they were fantastic, you know.
Nice.
But and still, whatever's happening with bluegrass, we're here for it, and we hope it just keeps getting stronger. So, Damn Tall Buildings, we know, is sweeping through a lot of the middle of the country in the next few weeks. If folks want to find out more about you guys, where you're playing, etc., where can they find you guys on the internet?
Totally. You can find most everything relevant to us at damntallbuildings.com. Yeah, we got our tour dates up there. You can find a direct link to the new album. You can watch some music videos. You can look at our mugs while you read all about us. And I think there's maybe some other stuff in there too, but those are the relevant things.
That's good.
And then we're on Instagram too. We post on Instagram all the time. Our handle on there is Graham Tall Buildings. But if you search Damn Tall Buildings, you'll find it. Yep, same on Facebook and YouTube. Those are I think our 4 that you can really hit up.
Very nice. Well, Avery, it's been great to have you. Thanks for stopping by. And more importantly, thanks for making great music for us to listen to. We appreciate you being here. Can't wait to see what's next for Damn Tall Buildings. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. He is Avery Ballotta. The band is Damn Tall Buildings. The new album is The Universe is Hungry. It's out and everywhere. We've got links in the show notes to it and all the places. And be sure to stick around, folks. The Pickin' the Grinnin' segment is coming after the break. Let's go to said break with another song from the new Damn Tall Buildings album. Here's Thick Smoke on Roots Music Rambler.
We got thick smoke rolling right out the kitchen late in the morning in the summertime. It said I've been feeling better than lonesome with the dew in the morning in the summer shine. But I ain't feeling better than lonesome. Matter of fact, lately can't keep on crying. The blue sky's rolling, hot tears flowing. I'll be waiting for the better days to come on by. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh.
Welcome back to Roots Music Rambler. You know, we went out with the song Thick Smoke from Damn Tall Buildings, and I was almost a little bit disappointed it wasn't Dim Lights, Thick Smoke, and Loud Music, you know, the old Flying Burrito Brothers song, but that's okay. It's a good tune nonetheless, and it was good to have Avery Ballotta from Damn Tall Buildings here to tell us all about them and them stuffs and their bands and them pickins and the grinnins and up there in
And the
New
Berkleys.
York City. Get a rope.
We did not. That was not rehearsed.
It wasn't. But if you're Gen X, you know it. New York City, get a rope. You got to do it. What was that? Was that a bean commercial?
El Paso.
El Paso.
El
that's
Paso salsa
right.
or
El Paso
something.
salsa. There you go. Okay. It's time for the Pickin' the Grinnin' segment. This is the point of the program where Frank and I share music that we've been listening to that's been making us grin. It's our picks to share with you for new music. It could be a song, it could be an artist, it could be an album, it could be a podcast, it could be a movie, it could be a lot of different things. But that's what we're doing here. So, Frank, you want to go first?
Sure.
All right.
All
Tee it
right.
up.
So yeah, here we go. So my pick is a band, a duo, that kind of, at least as far as I can tell, sort of came out of nowhere, right? Dropped from the sky and dropped a surprise album on Halloween. And they are known as Snowcaps. So Snowcaps is made up of Katie Crutchfield from Waxahachie and her twin sister. Oh, I mean, I didn't even realize Katie has a twin sister. I mean, why would I know that? But and I had read, like I saw, while scrolling Instagram or whatever, that they had released this album. They're calling themselves Snowcaps. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And then I didn't think anything else of it. And I was in the car, I don't know, however many days ago, and I was listening to something on Spotify. And when it was over, like, how Spotify works, right? It'll play like something it thinks you like.
Yep.
And it was a song by Snowcaps called Heathcliff. And immediately I was like, I like this. And then I looked to see what it was. And I was like, oh my goodness. So that song, especially Heathcliff, really hooked me. And it'll probably end up being one of my favorite songs of 2025, BT dubs. And so I'm like, well, if this song is good, then I got to listen to the whole album. And I have since listened to the whole album, I don't know, at least a dozen times. But I really, really like it. And what I like about it the most is it totally reminds me of 90s, like, alternative rock, like female alternative rock, like get a lot of like Veruca Salt vibes from it. And we talked about Gen X. That's when I was like kind of coming up. I was trying to figure out who I was and where or what my place is in the world and that sort of thing. So to hear music that reminds me of that time is definitely a plus. So I highly recommend the album Snowcaps by Snowcaps.
Well, there you go. That's a good one. I didn't realize that Katie was doing that, and I didn't know she had a sister either, much less a
Yeah.
twin. So
Mm-hmm.
there you go. All right. Well, Snowcaps. Okay, so we'll put links to their Spotify's and whatnot in the show notes, so you can get to that very easily if you need help getting to that. But there you go. Okay. All right. So my pick is a singer-songwriter who is from Paintsville, Kentucky. Now, when I
Oh.
say that, you might think, oh, it's Chris Stapleton. Nope, nope, no. Oh, it's Tyler Childers. No, he's technically from Louisa, Lawrence County. Oh, it's, Loretta Lynn. Nope, no. There's a bunch of people from Paintsville, Kentucky. Well, there's a new one, and he might be the next big thing.
Uh-oh.
And his name is Joshua Sloan. His new album dropped a couple of weeks ago, and I went one time through it. The album's called Thinking Too Much. And I went through it once, and I didn't know exactly what I thought. So I went through it again, and I listened a little closer, and I took some time with it. And I think that Joshua Sloan, the way I would describe him is a very intelligent. No, I shouldn't say it that way because that makes it sound like the other person isn't intelligent. He's a smarter, more intellectual version of Zach Bryan. So
Okay.
he's a singer-songwriter. He has really good lyrics and really good songs, but there's a depth of emotion and there is a breadth of intelligence there that is not common in today's new emerging singer-songwriters. When I think of someone that I would describe that way, I think of an MJ Linderman maybe,
Okay.
or a Waxahachie maybe, or a Sarah Jaraz, some others that I really like. This kid's got something. And this album is really goddamn good. And I can't put him he's not necessarily a country singer. He's not necessarily a pop singer. He's not necessarily a folk singer. So he's kind of this like Gen Z amalgamation of all of these influences, and he's smart, and he really is in your face with the emotions that he brings forth in the music. And I had to go through the album a couple of times to really let it soak in. He's really good. And
Okay.
and honestly, after it was over, I thought I didn't think Eastern Kentucky had something like that in them. I mean, Tyler is a different category. Great
Totally.
songwriter, great band, etc. Stapleton's a different category. Great songwriter, great sound, great band. This kid's got something. I can't quite put my finger on it, but some of those songs will just rip your heart out and make you think. And so Joshua Sloan, from Paintsville, Kentucky. I think he may have grown up in Prestonsburg, which is right next door, sort of between. Prestonsburg is between Paintsville and Pikeville. Prestonsburg is where Nicholas Jamerson and Emily Jamerson are from. So
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
I remember.
So yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be inappropriately, I think, labeled as a Zach Bryan type disciple. I don't think he's a disciple. I think he didn't get this from somewhere else. He's got something unique and something good. And it's very rare that I listen to an artist for the first time and I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
this kid's, he's one of those. He's good. He's real good.
I'm going to have to check it out.
Joshua Sloan. And I've read a couple of reviews, and the reviews tend to reassert kind of my thought of, yeah, this kid's got something already in this album, but he's also got an enormous amount of potential, because I think he might be 18 or 19, or he's super young too.
Okay.
So, but yeah, Joshua Sloan, check him out and tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not hearing something, or maybe you're hearing something I'm not, but holy shit, I thought he was pretty good.
All right. Well, I'll give it a listen. I'll let you know. And you mentioned MJ Lenderman. I forgot to mention during my pick that he also plays on the Snowcaps album.
Oh, cool. Oh, there
So-
you go. Full
Yep.
circle, all sorts of shit.
Center
going
of
on.
the universe. MJ Lenderman.
Tell you what, man, he's definitely got a lot of buzz the last year or so, and his
yeah.
music's awfully good. So we'll just see where it takes him, I suppose.
For sure.
All right, great show tonight. This was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this. Damn Tall Buildings. Avery was fun to talk to. We had a good chat and talked about the Springsteen movie and good recommendations. And I didn't drink too much, and this is
Well, that's always a plus.
progress.
It's almost like we kind of know what we're doing now.
Well, we're 1 for 60, so let's keep the streak alive. Maybe we'll be 2 for 61 the next time out.
I think we have a better batting average than that.
Well, we
but-
probably do. Anyway, Roots Music Rambler is a production of Falls and Partners, copyright 2025. Our theme music is Sheepskin and Beeswax by Genta Corum. Join us online at rootsmusicrambler.com or on YouTube, and tell everybody to go damn subscribe to the YouTube thing. We're on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Go do that.
Damn it.
And make sure you mash that subscribe or follow button so you remember to join us for the next hoedown and throwdown. She's Frank.
And he's Falls.
And whatever you do, kids, ramble on.